has the ability to cover. Till now, we had the understanding that Rabbi Gamliel held that the Chazan could cover even the educated Jew could be covered by the Chazan, but the reason why the educated Jew prays is to give the Chazan the ability to prepare his prayer. That was the reason according to Rabbi Gamliel. And according to the Chachamim, the rabbis hold that the Chazan would never have been able to cover the educated Jew. The enactment of the Chazara, morning Nathan, was only the enactment of the Chazara was just for the uneducated Jew. That was the opinion of the Chachamim. So we are now on 35a, 2 in the Art Scroll. So Amar Reb Acha bar Avira, Amar Reb Shimon Chasida. Reb Acha bar Avira says the name of Reb Shimon Chasida. Adam, if you might want to get the plug because it looks like the battery's a little low. Pota Haya Rabbi Gamliel Afilu Am Shebesadot. Now we have a major chidush of Rabbi whose understanding of Rabbi Gamliel that even the people who are in the fields, they don't even show up to the synagogue. But they're uneducated. They're unable to come to the synagogue, let's say during the weekdays, because of their taking care of the fields. So their responsibility is fulfilled through the Chazan. So it's interesting. You see, you might have said, if they can't come to the synagogue, maybe they are panus. They can't do it, so they're exempt from the mitzvah. They don't get credit because they're not able to come. But here he's saying differently. They're actually covered. Actually, they're covered. Their responsibility. There is a responsibility of prayer on all members of the community, and uneducated, educated. But the person who's not capable, who's uneducated, or not capable. He's not capable of praying. He doesn't know how to pray. He's in the field and he's very busy. He can't come to the synagogue. He would be covered according to this understanding of Rabbi Gamliel. They would be covered through the prayer of the Chazan, and which they quote in the name of the Chazon Ish, is that according to Rabbi Gamliel, the rabbis did not obligate. There's an obligation on the community. And every community has to have a minyan, and the Chazan will go ahead and repeat the Amidah for the Chazara, for the people who are in the city, capable of coming, who don't know how to pray. But if you're not able to come because of their work in the field, they would be covered by the fact that there was a minyan in the synagogue. Now, obviously, we hold you have to go ahead, and every person has to pray. We don't say that you could just fulfill your obligation by people who are out in the fields. But so what does the Gemara say? And there's no question about the people that are in the city, that are close to the synagogue, that they fulfill their obligation by listening to the Chazan, meaning to say that not only the people that are here that get credit, but the chiddush is that even the people that are in the fields that are far away from the synagogue and are not here, they also will be covered. So the Gemara says, you say the people in the fields, they have to come because the only allowance seems to be because they are busy in the fields and they're not capable of coming.
far, or
too far.
or if they lose their crops, they don't have enough food for winter and they die.
Right, or they have somehow if they needed right that they needed to be in their field, technically they would be covered. But not only the people that are in the city and come to the synagogue, according to this understanding, Rabbi Gamil, if they come to the synagogue, they're in the city, they fulfill their obligation. But even though they're capable of praying, but if they come to the synagogue, they fulfill their obligation. And certainly, the novelty is that even people who don't come to the synagogue could also fulfill their obligation. So the Gemara says, Adarabba, on the contrary, Hani Anisi, the people that are in the field who are not able to go ahead and come. So maybe we could say specifically those people will be covered by the Chazan. But Hani lo anisi. But these people that are in the city that are not that are capable of coming and capable of organizing the prayer, they will not fulfill their obligation with the Chazan. So what this opinion is saying is that why should Rabbi Gamliel should not allow, we should not say that the educated Jew should be able to fulfill his obligation with the Chazan. Because if you're educated or you're in the city, you're capable of coming to the shul, and according to Rashi, you're even capable of organizing and educating yourself and knowing how to pray. You have the time. So therefore, he should also, the educated Jew, should not be able to fulfill his obligation by listening to the Chazan. The educated Jew should have to go ahead and pray himself. And then the Chazan will do the Chazara just for the uneducated Jews. The Tani Abba Bereder of Binyan Barchia, because we find by Kohanim, Am She'achurei Kohanim, the people that are in back of the Kohanim. When the Kohanim are doing the Birkat Kohanim, and you're in the synagogue, and you're standing, let's say if I'm the Kohen, if I'm doing the Birkat Kohanim this way, if someone's standing at back of me, he's not included in the bracha. He's not included in the bracha of the Kohen. It's very important.
2 days ago, standing behind the Kohanim, I said, you'll get more of it. I didn't realize you'd get all of it. Right.
He said the Gemara says you will not get credit. Here the Gemara said that if you're standing at back of the Kohanim, you're not included in the bracha. So Nathan, he's not going to get the bracha at all. The person who's standing at back. That's why if you notice, people who stand all the way in the front. You see the Rabbi Fari, he always moves. He doesn't stay in his seat by Birkat Kohanim. Then he'll be in back of the Kohen. He has to go in front of the Kohen. And I always remember Rabbi David Feinstein. He would always try to face the Kohen directly, meaning not just to be in front, not in back, but actually to face to face the Kohen. He would stand by the where they read the Sefer Torah. He would stand right over there to be directly facing the Kohanim. And what's the reason for this? Because the people that are in shul, if you're in shul, they're able to come be in front of the Kohanim. And if they did not come in front of the Kohanim, it shows the lack. Some understand it shows a lack of respect, shows of a lack of recognizing the importance of the bracha to be in front of the Kohen.
Does the person who's in the field that is not in shul get covered by the
Oh, very good. That right. That's what we're going to say now. It's now just to say the main obligation is to stand in front of the Kohanim to get a blessing from them, panim el panim, face to face.
That means you're in front and you're facing sideways or you're facing backwards. It doesn't help you. You have to actually face the Kohen
right
while you're
right. So if I'm the Kohen, if Nathan is facing that way, that he's looking the opposite direction, also no good. And the reason is because it says, the Gemara says in Sota, you should bless the people, say to Kosavarchu et bnei Yisrael, so you shall bless the Jewish people, amar lahem, say to them, the Kohen should be saying like a person talking to his friend. When you talk to your friend is not, his back is not to you. You're facing him face to face. So therefore, Mark is joining. So therefore, the same thing regarding, but the people that are in the fields that are not capable, that are busy in their work. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning,
And
Rabbi.
morning, they're not able to come face the Kohanim, are included in the bracha of the Kohen, are included in the bracha. So the Gemara wants to say that should be the same thing regarding minyan, that maybe the Chazan could cover the people that are in the field that are not able to organize their tefillah. They're not able to organize it, not able to come, and even if they're able to come, maybe they're not able to, they don't have the time to organize their tefillah properly to know how to pray by heart. But the people who are in the city, who are able to go ahead and organize their tefillah, even if they come to the synagogue, Rashi will say, even if they come to the synagogue, the Chazan should not cover the person who's capable of reading himself. The same way that the Chazan will not cover the bracha of the Chazan of the Kohen will not be good enough for the people who are in the synagogue, but they're not facing the Kohen. You're capable of facing the Kohen. Walk in front of the Kohen. Mark, we were saying the people that stand behind the Kohen, when the Kohen gives the Birkat Kohanim, are not included in the blessing. You have to be in front of the Kohen, not in back of the Kohen.
How about on the side?
Right, so the side is a discussion. I think it says on the side, if you face the Kohen, if you're on the side of the Kohen, but you're facing him, we're gonna look that up. I saw some discussion. I think I saw on the side, technically it might be good, as long as but you have to tilt yourself.
So every one of these questions is almost the same Mishnah or the same volume?
No, different volume. This is what we've been between today and yesterday. We were Aleph, Bet, and 6. We've done 3 different. We were touching 3 different volumes. It's a 6-volume set of the Mishnah Berurah of the. So today, because Birkat Kohanim is in the 2nd volume. Yesterday we were talking about organizing your prayer as a volume number 1. Rosh Hashana is a volume number 6. So that's where we've been. That's why it's great. And then in this Mr. Loeb Torah Center that we have. What's your father's first name?
Daniel Loeb is not me.
Oh, someone else.
Daniel Loeb is Daniel Loeb.
Oh, so
My father's name is Leonard.
Oh, so whoever this is not related to this Torah? No, this Torah Center has. We have a lot of Sforim here. So in the it says the following. It says in the Shulchan Aruch, Simin Kuf Chav Ches Chav Daled. Kuf Chav Ches Chav Daled says like this: the people that are back of the Kohanim are not included in the bracha, but in front of them and on their side, Mark, that would be that the side would work. Meaning to say, so Chavetz Chaim explains, if there's no question, the ones that are in front of the Kohanim, but not directly in front of the Kohen, to the left, to the right of the Kohen, but facing the Kohen, but to the in front, but not directly in front, not exactly face to face, but a little bit to the side, would definitely be included in the bracha. Nevertheless, even the ones that are exactly on the sides of the Kohen are still included in the what? Same line of the Kohen are still included in the bracha.
It's like on-sides and off-sides in soccer or hockey.
Sounds like the only excluded is behind.
Right, that's what it sounds like. Now he says, therefore, the Chavetz Chaim says, those that are standing at the eastern wall, the front of the ones that are in the front of the synagogue, said the rabbi, whoever's sitting all in the front, and the Aron Kodesh is bolate, and the Aron Kodesh sticks out a certain amount. It's like this. This is not flush with the wall. The Aron Kodesh, see, this has a certain thickness coming from here to here. It sticks out around 2 feet. So if the person is on the side against the wall, and the Kohanim are in the front over here, if the Kohen's over here, and there's someone in here, he is in back. He's not on the side. He's not even on the side. If the Aron Kodesh, if there's a wall, this is the platform, and somehow and then the wall is over here, so then the person will be standing right here, technically that would be fine, because he's standing exactly on the side of the Kohen. But the fact when the Aron Kodesh is sticking out, protruding, and that person will be moved further in, so therefore he's not even on the side. You got that, Adam? Is that good? He's not on the side. He's not included. Now, so interesting. He brings the Bach, one of the commentaries on the Torah, that says that we do find some people that don't move. Morning. They don't move. They stay in their place, and they're not even on the side of the Kohen. They're in the front by the wall. So how do you explain that? So he says, because today that everybody buys a seat in the synagogue, and they're like anusim, because they're not able to go ahead and squash anusim. Right. Just like the people who couldn't come to the synagogue, we said are included in the Birkat Kohanim, which is a fascinating thing. So too, some want to say that the people who don't move from their spot all the way in the front, even though they're not even on the side of the Kohen, they're covered by the Kohen because they're like the people who can't come in front. The same way the people that can't come to the synagogue are going to be covered, like the people in the fields, they're not able to come. They're included in the bracha of the Kohen. It's a fascinating thing that I think the Kohanim need to be aware of. When you're doing the Birkat Kohanim, have in mind those people who are not capable of coming to the synagogue. They're going to be included in your bracha. It's not only to the people that are in the synagogue. It's those people that can't come to the synagogue. That's what the Shulchan Aruch says. They're included in the bracha. So if you're in the synagogue and you can't come to the synagogue, so if you're in the and you can't come in right because there's no space for you to move, and it's a packed audience, no space to push the friend to the side. So this one, there are those that the Bach wants to let's say explain, maybe to defend in a certain sense those people who don't move. But the Chafetz Chaim says it's not sufficient. Come on, it's easy to find an empty space on the side of the Kohanim, or in the middle of the synagogue, or on top by the bima where they read the Torah, or on the western wall. They're not buying this. He wanted to defend them, but they're not buying the defense. They're saying it's not a good enough reason. Figure out in the synagogue how to find a spot that you're actually even on the side of the Kohen. Certainly, if you could be more in front, would definitely be better. So that is
funny, like the wealthiest person who want to buy the easternmost seat, and the easternmost seat to be close to Jerusalem might exclude him from the Birkat Kohanim.
Right. Therefore, that's why he has to make a move in life. I tell the guys, you got to make the move, the right moves. This is the move you got to make. If you're on the eastern wall, you got to move a little bit to be in front of the Kohanim. So now, when I said earlier about tilting yourself, I saw that in the Chafetz Chaim in his Bir Halacha. He says, even though we said if you're exactly on the side of the Kohen, you're included in the bracha, being exactly on the side, but you still. So very good. So you heard what Nathan said, but he says, but you have to go ahead. He says if you're on the side, the logic is that you should not. It doesn't help if I'm on the side of Nathan, and Nathan, let's say if I'm the Kohen, if someone's standing right here on my line, and he's a Yisrael, and if he's facing this wall, and he's not, good morning, but this here, he's facing, morning Morris, he's facing this wall, that means he's not facing me. He's not in front of me, he's on the side of me. That's not called face to face, and therefore that will not help. and therefore you should. It's not common that two people that are sitting together, that one person, if I'm sitting with you, like I'm talking to you, I'm facing this way, I'm the Kohen, and you're facing that way. So if you're standing over here, and usually when you're standing, you're facing east. The Kohen is turned around, he's facing west. So if I'm the Kohen, I'm facing west, and you're on my side, exactly on my side, facing this way. That's not what people don't talk. I don't talk to you like this. You stand. I talk to you a little bit more. You're more, facing me. So therefore, he says, the Chafetz Chaim says, if you're on the side of the person, just to bring everybody up to date, we're talking about the proper way to do Birkas Kohanim, and we're saying how you have to be in front of the Kohen, or at least on the side of the Kohen. But if you're on the side of the Kohen, you have to face the Kohen. And then that's what the Chafetz Chaim says. But then he might then he says something else. But then at least in his first thing that he wanted to suggest, first of all, it's definitely better. There's no question the Chafetz Chaim will say, if you're on the side, tilt yourself. If you're on the side, if someone's on the side, turn yourself facing the Kohen while you're on the side. Okay, so that's what the Gemara says. It's also no good, right? If Morris is in the front of I'm the Kohen, Morris in front of me, and he's looking the other way. That's no good. You got to be you face the Kohen. Now, Ella kiata ravin. By the way, I'm going to wait. Maybe I'll repeat when Nathan comes. Moshe Feinstein has a tshuva, has a letter about the responsibility of praying with a minyan. And he says it's an obligation for every person to go to a minyan to pray. It's not like, I'm doing something extra above. You want to go to the mikveh every day. You don't have to go to the mikveh every day. What if I tell you? You don't have to go, Mark. You don't have to go every day. We don't have to go to the mikveh every day, but you want to go. The class is like a mikveh, by the way. Torah is a mikveh. Torah purifies, by the way. This is a mikveh experience. When you learn Torah, you're like in a mikveh. And I was just saying, Nathan, that Moshe Feinstein has a letter in the Igrot Moshe, where he writes, going to a minyan is a chiyuv. It's a responsibility that we have to. And one of his proofs are, because the Gemara says, what I recall, because there's a Gemara that says you have to go maybe 18 minutes out of your way for a minyan. I mean, if you have a minyan that's going to take you 18 minutes out of your travels, out of your way, you have to go 18 minutes out of your way. So the guy said, okay, Rabbi, I'm going to buy a house 20 minutes away from the synagogue. that you're losing out. Maybe he can't come, right? Because he can't come. So
this guy buys a house 20 minutes up. It's like he's putting some unkosher meat into the pot on purpose, and therefore he should still be excluded.
Right, yes, I'm not calling it. It's not like unkosher meat, but that level. But yes, he is. He's He's setting himself up, but he has to realize what are you missing out? People, Rabbi, someone asked you, Rabbi, do I have to travel to this minyan? It's so far away. I said, listen, if it's that distance, you might be exempt. But you know what? But you're losing out. You're not hearing the kedusha. You're not hearing much right. You're not hearing Kriyat Torah. Who's the winner? You're not praying with a minyan. You're losing all those things. So you're the big winner. So even if the rabbis did not obligate you to make that level of a move to travel so far from minyan, but if you the smart man, I would say, would go and exert that effort and win big by coming to the minyan. No, we were saying, I have to remember what we were saying about the yeah. Right. You're not have to go to mikveh. But there's certain things in life where Moshe says you are responsibly obligated to go to minyan. That's where Moshe finds his understanding of the halacha. So now, Ella ki atein Ravin, Amar Rav Yaakov Baridi Amar Rav Shimon Chasida. When Ravin came, he said in the name of Yaakov Baridi, in the name of Shimon Chasida, Lo pater Rabbi Gamliel ela am shebesadot. The only people that he exempted and were covered by the Chazan with the people in the field, my taima mishum the anisi b'malacha. They are anisi b'malacha. They're busy with their work, and they're not able to come. And aval be'ir, but the people in the city, lo, they will not. The way Rashi seems to understand, people in the city, even if you come to the synagogue, according to this reading in Rabbi Gamliel, they will not be able to fulfill their obligation by listening to the Chazan, because if you come to the synagogue and you're capable, the same way if you're capable of going in front of the Kohen, the fact that you're in the synagogue, but if you're not where you need to, doing what you need to be doing in the synagogue, you're not covered by the bracha. So if you're in the synagogue and you're capable of organizing a prayer and praying, you cannot rely on the Chazan's prayer. Now, Mazel Tov on this. Now let's take a look at the Shulchan Aruch. Say it again. Now, Ma'aretz can fulfill it. Uneducated Jew can fulfill his obligation by listening to the Chazan. So let's take a look in the Shulchan Aruch. In Shulchan Aruch, in Simit Tov Kuf Tzadik Aleph. This is book 6 about Rosh Hashana. Tov Kuf Tzadik Aleph says the following. He says, yeah, so this is the Torah. So this is the Torah. There's no Mishabura on this statement. Okay, so we finished this Perek Mazel Tov. Now we're going to move back a little bit to the end of the previous chapter. There's a Mishnah that's very for our days that we're living. Let's take a look, and we're gonna start Shabbat next Friday. So we have a whole week, and now we have in Sukkah. There was a piece of Sukkah from the first chapter that was a lot of math. That when we learned it, we put it to the side, and we're going to finish it up. So we have a complete Masechta that we're going to do next week. We're going to cover that, and meanwhile, we're going to go to a Mishnah on Chavtet Amar Aleph on 29a. Very fascinating Mishnah. The Mishnah says, quotes a pasuk in the Torah. When the Jews went to war against Amalek, so in the Art Scroll, it's 29a. You know, here we are during wartime ceasefire. How well the ceasefire will be is a question. 29a1. The Mishnah says the following. There's a pasuk in the Torah that says when the Jews went against Amalek, when Moshe Rabbeinu picked up his hands, the Jews won the battle. When he picked up his hands, and when his hands were down, the Jewish people lost the battle.
Then they dropped some big rocks up there to hold his hand.
Right. So what is this? What is this? What is the idea over here? So the Gemara says, is it the hands of Moshe that makes us win? Right. When we lifted our eyes and our hearts, so that's what the Mishnah says. This is that famous statement is this Mishnah. The pasuk says, "What makes us win battles? How do we win wars? We win wars by when we do the right thing, when the Jewish community." And this week's parasha fits in beautifully, by the way, because what did Yitzchak say? Hakol kol Yaakov. When Yaakov dressed up as Esav, he put on the hairy skins, but Yitzchak says the voice is the voice of Yaakov. The hands feel like Esav, but the voice is Yaakov. So the Medrash says, he says, Hakol kol Yaakov. The voice. What's the double language, the voice? So the Medrash says, he was saying, when the voice of Yaakov is heard in the synagogue, and when the voice of Yaakov is heard in the Beit Midrash, in the yeshiva, Esav has no power over us. So what gives us the power? What's the power of the Jew? It's the power of the learning, the mitzvot, the Torah learning, the prayer. That makes us successful. And that's what double, because one is the voice of Torah and one is the voice of prayer. Two voices. Learning and prayer. And by the way, I tell people in the college campuses, the Jewish, the religious, the traditional, the boys there, that's the winning combo. If you stay committed to prayer, to minyan, okay, because the other one is more obvious to them. That I think they don't need me to tell them that. I think they need me to tell them. One, you're right, Mark. Mark said, "What do you mean, Rabbi?" Said Torah, Avodah, Gimel, Chasadim. I'll talk about that also, morning. But and of course, a lot we talk about it, Chesed and this and that. But that they might hear from other people. But they need to hear from the rabbi. They have to go ahead and be committed, be consistent. Don't drop minyan. Go to minyan and go and study Torah. That's the winning combo. It's not. You don't have to be an Einstein to figure that out. And if people do that, right, that's true. He didn't figure out. You feel bad that he passed away without figuring it out. That's when people like that, Jewish people, pass away without tshuva. That's a big problem. So here's the Gemara. The Gemara says, and by the way, the Rabbi Gansweig from the Yeshiva, Ramosha Feinstein, this week he spoke. He said the following: what's happening in Israel in the war, right? We see the Yadayim, that the hands of Yaakov, very powerful. We see that the military is being very powerful, very strong. And he says, but the pasuk says, "V'hayadayim edei Esav." The power of Esav is with his hands. The power of a Jew, meaning our power is not with our hands. Our power is with our prayer and our learning. But we see the power of the Jew with the hands too. We see the power of the Jew with the military might. So he says, how do we explain it? When we see the Torah says the power of the Jew is with your prayers, and the power of the Esav is with the other side is with their hands. So he said, and he told me yesterday that he saw that that maybe it was Vilna Gaon's brother, or maybe Chaim Volozhin's brother said, if the Kol Yaakov, the part of the Kol Yaakov, if the voice of Yaakov is heard, then Yadayim Yidei Esav. The hands of Esav, you will have those hands too. You will be empowered. You will have success on the battlefield, and you will be able, like we see throughout Tanakh, right? When the Jews did the right thing, they won the war. They did the wrong thing. When they went away from Hashem, they lost the battle. They did the right thing. They won the battle. Yeah, you had a Beit HaMikdash. As long as the Jews did good, the Beit HaMikdash stood. The Jewish people went off. The Beit HaMikdash came down. It's a very simple. So there's a lot of good things happening in Israel. There's a lot of Torah, a lot of Tefillah in Israel happening today. A lot of Chesed, amazing amount of Chesed that's happening in the land of Israel. So the more there's more of that, that's going to merit that the Yadayim B'dei Esav, the power, the military power, that will empower our fights on the battlefield, and that's what he said. So that's I thought that was very. There is a Vilna Gaon, this beautiful Vilna Gaon that asked the question. It says in the Parsha, Hakol Kol Yaakov, the voice of Yaakov. I hear the voice of Yaakov, but the hands are the hands of Esav. So how could the Medrash say when the voice of Yaakov is heard, Esav doesn't have power? But the verse states, Hakol Kol Yaakov, the voice, and the same verse states, but the hands are Esav, which sounds like that when the voice of Yaakov is heard, there's the hands of Esav, meaning Esav himself. The enemy has power. But you just told me when the voice of Yaakov is heard, the enemy doesn't have power. Then you could have that hand of Esav.
Also, subservient.
Right. That was one. But the Vilna Gaon gives another answer. He says, if you look at the word Hakol Kol Yaakov, how is Hakol spelled? Hey, the first Hakol, Hey Kuf Lamed, is missing a vav. It's chaser. How do you spell the word Kol? Kuf Vav Lamed. That's how you spell the voice. If you look at the Shul Kol Yaakov in Brooklyn, right? There's the Kol Yaakov synagogue. Look, what is it? You'll see it's spelled Kuf Vav Lamed. Has that vav inside. Malay. But yet, when it comes to the pasuk here says Hakol Kol Yaakov is missing the vav. So the first one Hakol. So when it's missing, right, and the second one is full. So Hakal when it's deficient, when the voice of Yaakov is deficient, is missing. It's not where it's supposed to be. Then Yosef has power. Right. Right. It's not focusing on Chesed. Right, correct. But Torah and Tefillah. But let's remember, Mark, Rabbi David Feinstein, my rabbi from Moshe's son said, Torah has to be a Torah of Chesed. If it's not a Torah of Chesed, you missed the boat. If you don't become a nicer and gentler and softer, then you're not learning right. Something's wrong. Something wrong. He said a beautiful shot. He said, "Listen, am I on fire?" Right. The Torah is teaching you. How to be a person. Exactly. Right, they're not focusing on that. But it has to be. You have to be learning. You have to be training your talmidim, your students of Chesed. That's why. Let's say in the yeshiva, we have a Rosh Yeshiva. We have someone who is the head rabbi, but you have a mashkiach. The typical yeshiva has there are two leading figures in a yeshiva. Who are the two leading rabbis of yeshiva? The head of the yeshiva, the Rosh Yeshiva, is considered the main head, and the next one underneath him, the most prominent position, is called the mashkiach. What is the word? Now we know the word mashkiach is a supervisor of food, but the mashkiach is mashkiach ruchani. He's the spiritual supervisor. His job in the yeshiva is to make sure that the guys are growing, focusing on their development, their improvement, their midot. So in the yeshiva, I had Rabbi David Feinstein. So I will tell you that I had in the yeshiva, Rabbi David Feinstein was the Rosh Yeshiva, and Rabbi Michal Berenbaum, he was the mashkiach. He learned in the great yeshivot in Europe before World War II, from the 1930s. He was an older man, and there's an article put out from him called Rabbi Michal Speaks, based on his weekly. So he would speak. What is the job of mashkiach? What does a mashkiach do in the yeshiva? That was a different Berenbaum. Yes, he was a different Berenbaum. Correct. And he's a spiritual cheerleader. His responsibility, see how are the boys doing spiritually? How are they doing in the Yiras Shemayim? Are they doing the Midot? He would always talk about Midot. He would talk about Chesed. He would talk about, these are the things. And every week he would speak. And every day in the yeshiva, the yeshivot have a seder called Musar. They learn Musar every day. I learned in the Meir Yeshiva in Brooklyn for a few years. Rabbi Shmuel Berenbaum was Rosh Yeshiva. Oh wow! So we have a Musa Seder before Mincha. In the Mincha was around 2:05. We had about 150 or so, if I recall. We had Musa before Mincha, and then in the winter time we had Musa before Avit, twice a day, and because they felt and that's working on your development, and that's the key to they say to a person, Rabbi, I only have 5 minutes a day to learn. What should I study? It says, learn Musar, then you'll realize you have more than 5 minutes a day. Right.
If you learn Torah and you have the other one comes for sure. The idea to me is, again, let's say is if you're learning, then everything.
Right.
If you're not learning, you say, I keep Shabbat, but I don't learn. So maybe you're not even keeping Shabbat correctly, right?
Correct.
I don't understand that. So here, to me, I would say, I question, I don't understand why they don't just say Torah, period.
Because people have
all three.
Right. Because maybe it's emphasizing the fact that Torah itself is not enough. It's not enough because you need to have that a little bit more, that personal focus of you to Hashem, a personal.
Well, Musar is in Torah, so
The Musar is Torah. Right. It's a different focus of Torah. Musar is Torah. Right. That's why some say you can't learn Musar on Tisha B'Av. I'm not saying everybody agrees to that, but there are those that say you shouldn't learn Musa on Tisha B'Av because you can't learn Torah. You can't, you wouldn't learn Musa, you learn other things, you learn about, destruction of the Beit HaMikdash or other things, but just Musa, you wouldn't learn because Musa is Torah. And I think, Rabbi Mizrahi gives a Tuesday night Musa and Muslim Sharm. It's very popular. That Mesilat Yesharim is one of the great Svarim that was written. There's so many Musa Svarim to work on ourselves. How do we talk to your wife? How do you talk to your parents? How do you all these things are developed by learning Musa. It will keep us on top of our game. I want to wish everyone a beautiful day. We'll see everybody back on Monday. Regular time, back to regular time. Yehuda's back in Israel.
Thank you.
Hey, have a great day. Thank you for joining
Toda
us.
raba. Thank you so much, Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi.
You too. You look great.
Toda raba.
You have like the smile of Israel, the holiness of Israel on your face.
Yes, it's also from the Shir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. You got it.
Toda raba.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.